Welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. I am less angry and more mystified. I guess that's a good way to put it. Hey, John, thanks for being here. I'm finally on. This week's discussion topics, as always, are anything you feel is newsworthy about racism, bigotry, and inequality in America. And as we know, that's pretty much everything nowadays. And we have to add corruption. Got a lot of that now too. So we have lots to talk about. The show is meant to be an opportunity for viewers to speak their mind, but also to serve as an educational tool for white folks to learn the truth about systemic racism in America. So I'm going to start with some quick announcements, and we have some serious topics. And of course, anything you think is a good topic, if I don't know about it, you can teach us. And there'll be plenty of people to tell you if they think you're wrong in the commentary there. So I just wanted to thank everyone who sends me, thank you, everyone who keeps sending me important breaking news, because I cannot keep up. And if you want to get a hold of me, and if you think something's newsworthy, and you think maybe I might miss it, because I'm only one person, please personal message me right there, and I will be thrilled to read whatever you have and see if I can get it up. There's certain stipulations for YouTube, so if I don't put yours up, it doesn't mean you didn't do great for me. It just means, like, if there's a kid in it, it's out, because they have a lawsuit that they're trying to stand up to, since they long story. And if you want to call in later after the rant, here's the number. Okay, so tonight's topic I have for you are Black women, the backbone of democracy. Robert Reich's advice on, it's a brief analysis of Trump's BS. I'm not sure how else to put it. And another topic I have prepared is basically the question, are we safe during the presidential transition? I just learned a little bit more about it, and now I'm afraid to leave the house. Just kidding, I'm not. And then if we get to it, draining the swamp. So while you are thinking about what you want to talk about, and I am trying to get used to this new technology, I'm going to do a rant. And then I will take any comments that are appropriate. Mr. 123, Mr. Fred, no, naughty. Okay, so let's get started. Here's my rant, and I'm going to say it fast. Last weekend, about 10,000 people filled the streets of D.C. participating in the Million MAGA March. And as you might have guessed, scores of maskless, conspiracy-believing, unscientific Americans filled Freedom Plaza. They were dressed in patriotic colors and waving flags, shouting, ranting, and chanting, and making a ruckus. But one thing they were not doing so great with, I noticed, was social distancing. Go figure. To an outsider who didn't know any better, maybe someone from another galaxy or something, it might have looked like a lovely celebration. But what made this protest so incredibly special was that the people participating in it were all immersed in an alternate reality. Yes, I said it. Let me explain what I mean. I mean, they were delusional, okay? And maybe not in the clinical sense, okay? And I'm not into name calling, but they've chosen for one reason or another to believe in a vast array of conspiracy theories that there so far really is no proof for, and they believe that Biden and Harris did not win fairly, and most of them were there to protest it. But I'm not buying that for 1 minute. I mean, I know they believe that, but it was kind of scary for me personally, because I've never seen that many people believing in lies. And so it's a little, I don't know. I want to know what you guys think. Trump and the Republican clan that back him know very, very well that the election is absolutely legit. If the votes against the president were fraudulent, then the Republican wins in the House and Senate were also fraudulent because they're on the same ballot. So either the entire ballot is fraudulent or not. So this is kind of a dangerous stunt by Trump and the politicians in the White House who are afraid to stand up to him because they know he'll sick his Klan followers on them. Whenever their election comes up, they're going to be screwed. It's really scary stuff. So according to NPR's Hannah Alam, these marchers believe There was no question that their numbers were in the millions, that Trump did not win the election, it was stolen from him, and that Antifa is our nation's largest threat, socialism is lurking around the corner, the coronavirus pandemic is all hype, and there are children being trafficked by a cabal of global elites, and that the nation's valiant, outnumbered police are under attack. One thing that is undeniable, and that's that the crowd gathered in D.C. this past weekend unconditionally, and I mean unconditionally, support Trump, a man who's run a campaign from the very beginning on making America great, which of course is really a dog whistle for the good old days. We want the good old days, back when white folks could legally treat their fellow humans like a piece of shit, like they weren't worthy of contact with white people. In fact, the entire mantra, "Make America Great Again," is wrought with white supremacy, misogyny, racism, discrimination, classism, all bound by a vow of total willful ignorance. In the mix of individual supporters, there was an array this past weekend, of white supremacists, hate groups, who are boldly showing their affiliation with flags, clothing, signs, and other paraphernalia. The point is that 70 million people, probably more, there's those that didn't vote, believe these factless, unscientific, nonsensical conspiracy theories, just like their president seems to, or maybe he doesn't, even when government insiders reveal that Trump loathes his supporters and basically thinks they're all imbeciles who believe in this garbage, and they still revere him. I don't get it. I do not get it. Their behavior is cult-like. Instead of using their critical thinking skills, Trump supporters seem to have this willingness to promote the lies, misunderstandings, rumor, propaganda, and tons of fear. And definitely no research. No research. I don't know if they simply don't understand cause and effect, if they're just gullible. Some people are gullible. Are they just racist as fuck? Okay, I just said it. I'm just asking. I don't know. But the Dunning-Kruger effect would explain that the problem isn't just misinformation. It's that they are very unaware that they are misinformed. They are unaware of the level of misinformed they are. So it's a toughie. The result ends up that people believing that all opinions are equal and, correct, and that somebody who didn't study the subject and doesn't have a PhD in that particular area and hasn't spent their entire life studying the subject, their opinion is equal to someone who just learned the word yesterday. And unfortunately, this is kind of what we're getting. And it's not good. Trump supporters' conspiracy theories all seem to center around a central theme. Let's make America white again. Let's blame all of our problems on black, brown, and indigenous people. And I bring up this quote probably every other time because it just is too perfect. I'm not sure about the person, if this person was perfect, but his quote was spot on. So here it is again. It's very antiquated, kind of obnoxious and rude, so forgive me. Lyndon B. Johnson: if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him someone to look down upon, and he'll empty his pockets for you. I truly believe this is the disease that we white folks are ailing from. So why am I fixed on this giant weekend of mass fantasy in Washington, D.C.? Well, one reason might be because I got to go to Washington, D.C. for the first time this year, and it was totally exciting. But that's not really it. Why am I ranting like a lunatic? Because I like it. No, because unlike Trump, who will be ousted from the White House, which he did not win, these folks aren't going anywhere. These are our neighbors, our friends, our colleagues. These are our fellow citizens. And you don't need me to tell you that this is a lot of people that voted for Trump. And, the crazy thing is they're not just voting against, our best interest. They're actually voting against their own best interest, unless they're billionaires or millionaires. According to experts in the field, Trump plans to use these folks who have been tricked to do his extortion, to keep his power over policymakers long after he leaves the office. And I truly believe that is what he's doing. Experts like, and let me see, I have the book here, like Anne Applebaum, who wrote the book, The Twilight of Democracy, believe that this base, the one that believes anything Trump says, no matter how loony, will continue well after Trump's out to hold power over the Republicans, even after he leaves or is booted out or what have you. This group of people will be used to continue to extort politicians in doing what Trump wants. And I don't think this is ever done. I'm no historian, but I don't think this has ever been done in our history. This is a really scary thing. It's going to play something like this. Do what Trump wants, or we'll boot your ass out of office next time you're up for election. The fact is, it's Trump's MO to do this. He's a con man. He's into extortion. And 2 days ago, Trump sent a message via Twitter to the Ohio governor, Mike DeWine, about after he recognized Joe Biden as the president-elect and said it was time for a transition to take place and the next administration to begin. Well, Trump ended up basically threatening him. Never exactly direct. I don't think he's that stupid, but he knows what he's doing. He said, who will be running for governor of the great state of Ohio will be hotly contested. In other words, he's going to send his people after this person. Now, this guy's not up for election yet until 2022, but this is the kind of behavior this is how he rolls. And I have no doubt he'll be keeping that promise. So this is some scary, scary, scary stuff. All right. My rant is over. I'll take some comments. First, I want to thank you for being here. And Mario, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I'm happy you're here. And if you do not know about Mario, he is an incredible personality who does his own YouTube channel and has a large following. He's also on Facebook, and he is inspirational. And although I stick to mostly anti-racism, anti-bigotry, corruption, inequality, he does everything. He does tons of motivational stuff, and if you need motivation, he will get you. So definitely check out his stuff. And let me see. I'm gonna skip a couple people who are being goofy, just because I don't really have time for it right now, because I have lots to go over. Let me just back up here. Let me see. Carrie, LGB spelled out the game plan for the... Hi, Carrie. LBJ spelled out the game plan for the post-1964 GOP, and they have followed it ever since. Edit dates back to the post-civil Reconstruction era as well. Yeah, it's very scary. I must read that every other freaking time that I come on, because it always kind of works. So we'll go from there. Let me see if there's any other comments. Whoa, welcome, Jamie. Thanks for being here. And John, exactly. My ignorance is good as your knowledge. And you know what? I think it's just a really hard thing for people to just, drop their ego. It's just like racism. The first thing you have to do if you're a white person, if you want to learn about our real racial history, you really do have to drop your ego. It's not about us. And that's a super hard thing for people to do. So, and with this, like anything, not everybody can be an expert in everything. So you got to just be okay with that. So let me see who else is here. Let me see. All right. Now I'm using new technology, so I can barely see what's going on. 1, 2, 3, Mr. Fred. I'm sorry about my previous comments. That's okay. What is your religion? Serious question. Personally, I am agnostic. That is my religion. I don't have one. I'm not atheist, but I'm definitely agnostic. Okay. Keep in mind that Trump's motivations are narcissism. Yes, narcissistic personality disorder, looming payment debt, and absolutely. And they all go hand in hand. And it's becoming more and more obvious. Yeah, it's really scary. Really, really scary. But let me see any other comments. I'm not digging this new technology, but that's okay. Bear with me. It is kind of crazy. Today, I actually have 2 videos to show us. And Carrie, thank you. Bingo on the nose. I like that. Was I raised with religion? Nope, not at all. I was not raised with religion. So, I kind of, I know it's a little bit off topic, but that's a good question. I want to say, like, it would be arrogant for me to say there's no God. That would be like, how the hell do I know? I don't know. So I'm very much up in the air, and I'm kind of okay with it. And, it would be nice to know, but good questions. Thank you. One of the topics I want to talk about, oh my gosh, I just put up about 7 videos, so that's not one of the topics. But so please, if you are new, please check out my YouTube channel. What I do is I've figured this out. Boy, I'm a genius. That the more people who view them, the more people who view them get to view them. The formula for YouTube is pretty simple. The better you do, the more they promote you. So if you believe in what I'm trying to do, which is simply to talk as a white woman, talk to people about racism, bigotry, inequality, corruption, and live through it. And the reason I say that, I'm kind of joking, but kind of not, because a lot of folks like that are white in America get extremely uncomfortable talking about racism. And I get it. It's kind of been like, a really bad thing here. And it still is. And it's in every single facet of life. And it's like, we got to be able to talk about it. Nothing ever is solved by ignoring the problem. And so that is why I'm here. If nothing else, to set an example that I live through it every time, pretty much. So my first topic today is, let me just check this out. My first topic is Black women, the backbone of democracy. And a lot of people might be taken aback by me saying that, but I'm going to say it anyway. And Carrie, evangelical Protestantism embraces Trump is probably the biggest rebuke of Christianity in the Gospels. It's unbelievable. In fact, I did an interview with a really great guy who wrote a book, and he is a very devout Christian, and he said it like it was, said it like it is, like it was, like it still is, and it was really nice. He's from Mississippi, and raised fairly racist, but he's come full circle. And I always like to give credit, like my friend Dixon White. He was raised racist in the South, and he figured it out. And although we all live in this society where white supremacy is the premise of our overall environment, some people, if you're not raised that way, there's less to overcome and realize. A lot of folks nowadays do not have a single close friend who doesn't look just like them, white. And so how the hell would they know about systemic racism? They wouldn't. Or they'll hear it from television and the media and the internet and believe whatever they hear. They don't have a single close friend. Supposedly, 3 out of 4 Americans who are adult white people do not have a single close friend who's not white like them. So they wouldn't know. And it's very easy to be led astray. Some people believe that capitalism and racism need to have some sort of symbiotic relationship, but I don't know. I'm not a scholar in that area by any means. So, white women have a long, and I'm not bagging on white women. It might seem that I am, but this is supposed to be educational, so hey, it's the truth. White women have had a long history of not being good to black women, and this needs to stop with us. The truth is, black people in general, and black women especially, have been great leaders and supporters of humanity. I mean, of all the people to not, you'd think, wouldn't believe in this system that was developed when they basically weren't given the respect of even being considered human, yet, thank goodness, our Constitution was made by, say whatever you want about the Founding Fathers, they created a brilliant document, and it's on us to make sure it moves with the times. And it is time to end this bullshit racism, systemic racism. It is ridiculous. And yes, they were flawed, but Can somebody who has flawed character still be brilliant in setting up something? I don't know. That's not for me to answer. But I truly believe that a rising, the rising tide analogy, rising tide lifts all boats, and all human rights are raised when one group gets its equity and is supported. And, it's basically intersectionality. Unfortunately, most white women today still do not support our Black and brown and indigenous sisters of humanity. And we don't credit them with the leadership and perseverance and strength that they've exhibited. Black women in the United States are the most educated group. Look it up if you don't believe me. Look it up. It's a fact. It's come out a long time, a couple of years ago, and it's an amazing thing. So, what really shows it is if you look at our 2020 election, the voting stats don't lie. White women, we really haven't been there. So today I have 2 videos to share. One is a brief introduction to, very brief, so brief you might miss it, to the history of white women. And the other is a video I found in The Root, done by a woman who's a professor. She's a PhD, and she makes some really great points. So I will take a couple comments, and then I will show the video. Let me see. Gary, I'm glad I've always been 1 out of 4. That's awesome. I know, Gary, you are really awesome. It's so crazy because I was kind of interesting. I noticed this stuff when I was 6, and of course, I was raised in the era of colorblindness. So my parents weren't overtly racist by any means, but they also didn't teach me anything. I didn't know. I didn't know what was going on, and I saw it when I was 6. So I felt really lost. And I really, until I was about 12, when I started reading and figuring it out. And it took me, it really is a very steep learning slope, anti-racism, especially because we're so segregated still. And a lot of that's very purposeful, but I will not get into that right now because I do tend to go on and on. If you've watched my live shows, you probably know this. So let me see. John, I too was reared racist. It's not an easy thing to get beyond. Yeah, and John, like we were talking last time, I know people who were raised, really racist, and they had to kind of figure it all out and come full circle. And that is a beautiful thing. And I learned something every single day, but I didn't have to come from that place. I come from a place, where did I come from a very, very sheltered place. I didn't know much. And I didn't even know that there were, this is really bad, I didn't know there were derogatory words for other people. I didn't know. So I guess I learned when I was an adult. I was like, really? And I've never heard until my adulthood somebody say the N-word. I just thought that was something like a thing that no one would ever do. So I got a little rude awakening when I came out of the little shell, shell that I was pretty much, the rock I was under. But I ended up going to college, and lucky for me, I chose to do my undergrad in multiculturalism. So that was really good for me. And then I ended up going to, my first teaching job was in Compton, California during the LA riots. And that was an amazing experience. Talk about, oh my gosh, they were my first babies, my kids. I taught 4th and 5th grade, and they were my babies. And the redlining and the infrastructure in Compton at the time, they boasted the #1 murder rate in the country for small towns. And we had 8 shootouts in 1 year, and it was insane. And I learned a lot. I guess that's a good way to put it. And I really, it was eye-opening. So let me get the video started. The first one is a video I did, and I know how to do this, I think. Maybe. I will try my best. Let's see what happens here. This could get strange. Okay. This one is entitled, Don't Be a Karen. And I hope you like it. And I will see what I can do. Boop. To Black Americans. And it's way past time we confront this head on. So let's start with a brief history. One of the most damning things white women have done to black people is to not support their right to vote. Damning things. White women were offended that black men were afforded the right to vote before us. Did you know Frederick Douglass spoke powerfully in favor of women's suffrage in 1848 at a conference for women's rights? Historians believe that the measure might never have made it to the convention if not for his support. Yet 20 years later, suffragists like Elizabeth Stanton opposed the 15th Amendment, which extended voting rights to black men. Is the measure? I'm going to pause that for 2 seconds here. Because I don't know if people can see or hear it. I just want to make sure. And this new technology is killing me. Or hear it. I just want to make sure. So give me 2 seconds. I apologize. Why did it have to be today? New technology. 2 seconds. I apologize. Why did it have to be today? New technology. Why did it have to be today? New technology. Try to figure this out. I'm so sorry. I lost my feed. Completely. Well, if you bear with me today, that will be a miracle. We'll call this disaster take one. Are you hearing the video?
No, I'm doing other things. What's going on?
Are you hearing the video?
Can you tell me what's going on?
Yeah, I need you to find where the comments are. I lost them. I lost people. It's hard. I can't tell. Can you stay here for the video? I can't tell if you can hear the video when I play it or not. I can't tell if I'm getting feedback. Hear the video when I play it or not. Do you understand?
I can't see.
Okay.
That doesn't seem right. You probably...
It became a serious question whether we had to stand aside and let Sambo walk into the kingdom first. That's the
You're trying to hear it.
A lot of false equivalence of cultural appropriation took place in those days. Stanton and fellow suffragist Susan B. Anthony tried to equate white womanhood and not having the vote with being
It's not
enslaved.
working.
Sound familiar? Okay. With Anthony saying that the men some of the slaveholders used to think of their slaves, all of them. No malice in their heart, Douglas responded to Anthony by saying, when women, because they're women, are hunted down, by saying right from their houses and are hung because they're women, and their brains bashed out upon the pavement, then they will have an urgency to obtain the ballot equal to our own. From Emmett Till to Central Park lynching. Oh my God! Can I just get off of this and start over?
Yeah, stop it.
Yeah. Wow, this has been a disaster.
Okay, so flip back.
To here? Yeah.
So you gotta put your camera back on.
And I'm going to go back out. Okay. Okay. That was a disaster. Can you stay, please? What I'm going to do, I apologize. I'll never try this new technology again. I'm going to go back out and get rid of XSplit. Is what I'm using, and it's messing up everything. I'm so sorry. If you can jump back in and join me, I would love it. Please forgive me. This is a disaster, but it happens. All right, so I'm gonna go out and